Hey there, YouTube. Happy New Year. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit. It's 2015, and I haven't made a weekly in like a month, so I'm kind of behind. Now I can make longer videos, so I can finally post like 20-minute videos. Not that you probably want to see those. And so I thought I'd do my warm-up for 2015 video. I made a warm-up video 2 years ago, 1 year ago-ish. And it's pretty good. It's kind of what I do now, but I've changed a lot of things. A lot of what I do is better for me, at least. And I'm just a better player. So I want to make a new warm-up video, kind of get across what I like to do my warm-up, and what it does for me, and what it could do for you if you choose to do a similar kind of warm-up. So I'll start off. I have another video. I think it was like my very first one, my very first weekly, about first notes. And that kind of goes over like warming up your body, warming up your air and stuff, and your very first notes on the horn. So I won't go too in depth on that because it's what you do as your warm up. But I will do a little bit. So warm up your body. I like to go for a walk and stuff. Crack my back. Stretch. Crack my neck. Make sure I'm at least a little bit limber. Oh, and you probably noticed I got a haircut. Man, it's nice. I hate having long hair. Sometimes I stretch my hands. I'll show you how I do that. Start off with just the fingers, and I usually do this starting with the left hand. Doesn't matter. Exhale into the stretch. When you do nice deep breaths, I'm going to do this kind of accelerated. I'm not ready to spend a lot of time on this. But you use your left hand a lot, especially as a bass trombonist, but as any trombonist, the left hand's holding at the horn. Even with a brace, it's still getting a lot of stress. And so I stretch it out, and now I go through the whole arm, and the wrist, forearm. Oh yeah. Oh man. I think I forgot to do this yesterday, and so it's really tight. And then cross that over. This isn't totally necessary, but I like to combine it in. Okay, slowly relax out of that. Don't just go pop. Shake it out a little bit. And then do the other side. You don't do the fingers only. I just do the whole thing. And if you get a lot of finger pain or a lot of wrist pain, try doing this every day after you warm up your body a little bit. There we go. Relax out of that. Shake it out. I have another video on my YouTube page called Stretch, and I go through a whole stretch routine. And if you have a tight body, then try it out. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm probably really bad at it. Ah, man, ow. Alright, so stretched out my hand. We'll just say I've done the other stuff, warm up my body. I'm going to do a little bit of air playing. It's not really playing. I just like to do in and out through the horn. And I say in and out through the horn, I mean in, not through the horn, out through the horn. You notice I put down both of the valves, so I'm rolling through the entire instrument. And that just gives you a little more resistance and warms up the instrument, like physically. Because depending on where you live, it's winter now. The horn's probably a little chilly. And it's good to have that warm before you start up, especially the mouthpiece. And plus, having a cold horn means you're flat. No one wants to be flat. Alright, did a little bit of air warm up. I usually do a little more. I kind of do full expansions, and I do a little bit of quicker stuff. I don't do breathing gym myself, like on a daily basis, so that's up to you. You can if you want. I did a lot in drum corps. I don't want to do it again. And honestly, once I get this stuff done and I make sure I'm limber, as long as my back isn't tight and stuff, then my air is fine. I really don't have to worry about it. Okay, so I'm done with air. And my next thing is buzzing. So I've heard a lot about buzzing lately from different teachers. There's lots that advocate it, there's lots that don't. And I've kind of just started not buzzing. Because I feel like, and this is, I guess, just anecdotal, but a lot of people just buzz too loudly and they get kind of this spread feeling in the chops, because buzzing just on the mouthpiece is totally different than playing on the horn, and it kind of negatively affects playing the instrument. Kind of makes for a worse sound. I posted this somewhere, but when I moved to San Francisco, we drove for 2 days, and I drove like the rental truck in my car on different days. And I had a pocket trumpet with me, and I played that for a while, just like on the freeway. Totally dangerous, don't do that. And I also had my mouthpiece with me, and I would just buzz it from time to time, and I would just like try and buzz for as long as I could. And when I finally got here, I could like barely play my instrument. It was like totally shot. I had to learn from the beginning almost. And that was just 2 days of buzzing. And of course, I hadn't practiced a lot like the weeks coming up to that, or at least maybe the week coming up to that, because we had to pack and move, etc., etc. But still, I think the buzzing really did not do any good things for me. And of course, it wasn't totally focused buzzing. I didn't really, I wasn't like totally into it since I was also driving at the time. But I feel like buzzing should be a very limited application for most players. And so right now, I'm not doing any buzzing at the beginning of my warm-up. Sometimes I'll do a little free buzzing. I'll find a B flat. And I'll just do some really soft free buzzing on like B flat. The really big guy who advocates free buzzing says not to do below F, below that, so don't put free buzz below this. So I just free buzz a little bit up there and maybe go a little bit higher. That's just to kind of get the focus going, because that's really the only reason I buzz my mouthpiece anyway. So I've given up on that. I might do some buzzing later in the warm-up, but I don't do it to start. And I don't do a lot, and I do it very quietly. Alright, so buzzing, I don't do it anymore. Also, in the Brad Edwards warm-up that I used for this, it starts on low B flat, and that's what I've done forever. That's in my last warm-up video. It's in my first notes video. And I've stopped playing low B flat as my first note, because especially on like this horn, the slot for B flat is huge, and it feels just a little bit too low. It feels a little too wide for my taste for a first note, especially since I play like 4 long tones just on B flat to start off the day. I don't really like that. I like to get more focus. So I'm going to start on F. I'll play 2 long tones, and then 2 long tones with articulation. Those feel pretty good. I have a tuner that I usually keep out when I warm up to see where I am for the day. I've really worked with my pitch center to bring it down. Okay, don't know where my tuner is. There it is. So I've really worked to bring my pitch center down from my 50B. When I played my Holton, I think I was pretty low in pitch center, because when I went to my 50B, the single valve Bach, I had to have the tuning slide all the way in or I was flat. So I had to bring my pitch center up by like 30 cents or something. It was a lot. And then when I came to this, the horn was way too short. I had my tuning slide out like 2 inches. So I've really had to bring it back down again to have the tuning slide in. You want the tuning slide to be in like almost as far as it can be and still be in tune, because the farther it is in, the better the horn will resonate and play, because they're kind of designed to play with a tuning slide all the way in. Anyway, I'll play the other F long tones. And F feels a little bit better. F is like one of my least favorite notes, so I've kind of shied away from it in the past. But I feel like playing it right at the beginning of my warm-up, I'll get better at it. And that feels pretty good. I'm pretty well in tune right now. We'll see how that bodes for other notes, because I'm using pretty large lead pipes, so my slots are kind of big. And then the rest of the first notes part is kind of how it's written in the Brad Edwards. Just checking into my tuning. I did that again because my first low F was really flat. That feels really good to just kind of slur through that, but also be really in tune on the B flat scale. And then this kind of get to the just big glisses all the way down to double pedal B flat. That's the problem I have is it's like just misarticulating and misplacing low Fs, like low F to low E flat. Problem area for me. And for these, I go low F to C sharp and 6th, then I go low F to C and 4th with both valves. He says to go to low C in last position, but I can't do that on the Shires, and I don't really like that anyway since I never have to play them. And it's always really good to check in where your pedal B flat is. Pedal B flat is a huge slot, basically from B all the way down to pedal B. You can go. There's lipping it up, almost a half step, not quite. All the way down to major 7th. So there's a huge slot for pedal B flat, and it's nice to check into that because you can feel like you're playing it straight on and be almost a half step off in either direction. That double pedal B flat was not good. There we go. And I basically do those the same as an octave above, down to C sharp and down to C. And I do them at like a forte level. Not too soft, not too loud. You don't want to play too loud early in the warm-up, especially low, because it kind of opens up your aperture and kind of ruins things for later. And then going up. And on these, part of it is going up in range, but also I want to make sure that I'm glissing well and I'm not like trying to change the embouchure as I move up and down, because you can kind of get in a habit of like playing an F in one embouchure and then playing B flat in another one. And if you gliss from one to the other, it kind of like goes, and you don't have the same sound in between. So I try to make sure that it stays the same. There we go. Now I like to play at least a D above high B flat early in the warm-up. That's been pretty easy lately. It's not too hard. A little chippy there. Alright, looks like I need to hurry up. So that's the beginning of the warm-up. Just kind of gets the face warmed up. Now, flexibility. Let's see how this goes. I do these all as written, I think. But I like to mix them up. I'll do that in a bit. It's always good to check into tuning on these because as you do the flexibilities, your face kind of changes and warms up, and you may be playing different places in your pitch center. I've noticed that a lot, myself at least. I really hate 7th position, especially on this horn. It just doesn't play well for me. If I kind of mess up a flexibility, I'll go back and try and get it right the second time. I hate redoing things like that, but it's not so much being good musically as getting your face warmed up the correct way. And at the end of that, I was kind of sharp on the B flat, so I need to check into that, I guess. And the next part, difficult. That's flat. Still not totally used to second valve tuning. So, that was all my flexibilities. That's what I do every day. Sometimes I start those from the top note, go down, and I just do all of them like that, kind of invert them. That's basically the only thing I change in those. Looks like this might be more than a 20-minute video. I'm going to cut it off right now, actually. Alright, back for part 2. Hopefully only 2 parts. I want to keep this pretty concise. Alright, so I'm done with flexibilities. My face is feeling pretty warmed up. Now, articulation. And again, I don't buzz here anymore. I don't know, I just don't feel like I need it that much. It kind of hurts some things, helps others. I'm just doing without. And so these, in the warm-up he says, start on F, B flat, D. I like to mix this up and totally change what notes I'm playing from day to day. So I'll do F sharp, B, D sharp, B. If you look at the warm-up, I'm basically just taking up a half step at the beginning. Now it's sharp. So, basically in that I do what he has written, and then I do a loud, articulated, kind of accented scale down, and now I do it back up. I only introduced that like a week ago to kind of check into what I'm doing. I think I had that in the last video. I do like B flat scaled down, and it wasn't very good. And now I do it both directions. And now I'm starting on B, and I'll just go down a half step. But I just like to change up what notes I'm playing, because if you play the same partials, same notes every day, you're kind of not warming up the rest. So I just go different directions. Sometimes I go down a half step or a whole step. You get the idea. And then I do the next part, I think, in the warm-up, but this is what I do. Ugh, yuck. So, it's basically what he has there is go down to major third and then go back up, and it's like 16th notes. And I add on one that's like a fourth below what's written, then I go down another octave, or from what's written. And that's really hard. That was kind of bad. But it's really good to just articulate everywhere. And I like to not leave anything out as I start the day. So I go down a half step to what is written, and I'll do this faster. That feels pretty good. And there we go. That's the first part of the articulation thing. Now, I've added a lot of stuff onto the end of that with the Vernon book. There's an exercise I think I've used in one of my other videos where it's just going up the overtone series and back down with articulations. It's like a flexibility without, the flexibility. It's not typically what you do with this kind of thing. But I like to mix it up, and I do like breath attacks. I do them soft, I do them loud, I start from the top and go down. I do all sorts of different things with this. Today I will do loud, articulated, and I'll alternate with soft breath attacks. We'll see how that goes. I just started doing breath attacks very recently, and they suck right now. So I just go down chromatically. Ugh, yuck. I kind of like almost start to flexibility those. I don't know. I hate those. I need to work on them though. They're really good for you. It's good to check into those breath attacks. Just like starting the note with your air instead of anything else. Don't let anything else get in the way. Like I was talking right there. Because I have this habit, and I know other people do too. But people get in the habit of just starting notes with their tongue instead of the air. And that just brings up a bunch of issues later. So, breath attacks, they're good. I was on G flat. Yeah, it's flat. Then F. on those. It's hard to get things like in tune and just start the note right away, especially in low range for me. Like upper range and middle range isn't too bad for breath attacks, but bleh. So I like to do those, and then I count myself pretty much done with articulations. I might do a little bit later, and then I do, and this is pretty newish. I do the Arnold Jacobs wind song and wind exercise thing. This is in the Charlie Vernon book 2. I'm pointing over there because the book's in a bookshelf. You don't know that. But these are in there. And I do these in 4 octaves. I can't remember. And I've only been doing 2 lately. I do 1 soft and 1 loud. And I'll do B flat soft and then A loud. No, I'll do B soft and B flat loud. I'm doing these up a half step from written and then written. Damn. Too much spit today or something? Ooh, sorry guys. I usually have a little more break in between these. Anyway, there's B soft. Not perfect, obviously. These are really just to get everything connected. So you heard if I like chipped a note, or if it was out of tune, or if I just like didn't hit it, I would start over because I wanted it all to be very connected. And that was kind of bad anyway, but that's how it goes. It's a warm-up. It's not performance. I mean, you want to sound as good as you can, but it's your warm-up. You don't have to. I did that twice because the B flat at the top the first time was sharp, and so I checked in. My tuner's over here if you catch me looking. And it's hard to play that last note long enough anyway because it uses a lot of air. And it's really hard to land on notes and just keep that intonation. Really catching that today, at least. I usually have to take a couple breaths in the last one just because it's pretty low. And I'm playing it, it's not as loud as I can, but it's like as loud as I can while still trying to maintain a phrase. So that's those. Lately I've only been doing 2 because I just like to do 1 loud and 1 soft. And they take forever, so I just don't do all of them. Those are really good exercises. And you heard on the top, I like to go up a third because I like to get in that partial. Just because I don't get to play very often. High D, and when you're playing B, that's high E flat. I don't know, just good to do. And playing it soft, as you heard, is a lot harder, at least for me, than playing loud. And that really just gets that focus going. If you can play a nice connected phrase, basically from the pedals all the way up and then back down again. Man, why do I have hiccups? If you can do that very softly with a nice focus embouchure, then you're set. And really the thing I'm looking for in my warm-up is focus first, because I have a problem with kind of like double buzz or like just using too much aperture, opening up too much. Like focus first and then finding my sound. And that kind of does both. It's good for you. Now my warm-up, I'm pretty much done with the warm-up. Now I play, and I do a few things every day. And I guess I shouldn't say do this every day, but I do like a couple exercises after this every day that I consider part of my routine. And those just change around all the time. And I like to play melodies. I'll play, I guess I have one right now, but I've been playing I'm Getting Sentimental Over You in different keys, different ranges. I practice my stuff. You know, that's your warm-up. Alright, I'll put this all together and put it up. Have a Happy New Year's. YouTube. YouTube is what you're called. All of you together are YouTube. And I hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys next time.